Hello and welcome to the Evercade Retreat. My name is Gene Joke and today I'm ranking all the games from the Atari Lynx collection 2 for the Evercade. Once again, this is a legacy collection, so it is harder to get hold of now, and the chances are you might end up paying scalper prices. As always, I would say it's not worth paying scalper prices, but we'll see what you pay for things, it's entirely up to you. The first Atari Lynx collection had 17 games on it, this one has 8, which is significantly fewer. And considering the carts came out pretty much side by side, it's safe to assume that Blaze planned for this offset. So does that mean all these games are better? Are bigger, better games? Well, let's see.
Number 8.
Zarlaw Mercenary is a top-down shoot-'em-up, or vertically scrolling shoot-'em-up, where you control a mercenary blasting enemies away. You have a number of characters to choose from, there's some power-ups and some interesting touches to the game. But it's not the smoothest playing shoot-'em-up, and it's not a one-hit kill shoot-'em-up. You have an energy bar, which goes a long way, at least it does on the first level. I didn't beat this game, it gets really difficult further in, and it wasn't really good enough for me to persevere with. I said there's some nice touches to it, the way the power-ups work and things aren't too bad, but ultimately as a whole it does fall short, and it's one of the weaker shoot-'em-ups on the Evercade. I mean, it's no Magic Girl or, and it's better than, some of the C64 ones, but yeah, it's just not particularly good.
Number 7.
The Gates of Zendicon. This is a horizontally scrolling shoot-'em-up with a difference. I say with a difference, you still scroll from left to right and you shoot at enemies. Your weapon essentially have a laser and you'll fire bombs which will drop down. Hold down fire and you'll release one bomb and your laser will shoot continuously. Press fire rapidly or continuously and you'll drop a bomb every time you press fire. Your ship takes damage and this actually features in the gameplay when your main weapon can get damaged and things. Essentially there are, I think it's about 50 levels. You go through different gates at the end of each level, or even midway through a level, and they can walk to different stages and you work your way through to beat the game. There's other bits to it. It's quite a novel shoot-'em-up. It's quite different, and to be perfectly honest, it's ranking low here because at this point it actually becomes quite hard to rank the games, at least the mid-tier games if you like. It's not the fastest or most furious shoot-'em-up, and in some ways it's not the smoothest scrolling either. I suppose hardware limitations and all that, but I think for the Lynx it is a good shoot-'em-up. I'd say it has some novel ideas and does things a bit differently, which I did really enjoy. But having played it through the once, I haven't really felt any desire to go and do it again. While I'm sure I'll feel the urge to do it at some point, the fact that I have played through it and experienced it and not feeling like an urge to just play it for fun, I think essentially is why it's ended up down here on the list.
Number 6.
Is California Games. Yep, it's Epix again with another games game. Well, not another one, it's the same old one. This Lynx port of the game is a bit different. It has fewer events than the C64 one. Here you only have the half pipe, the surfing, BMX and the footbag. Seeing this came out a few years later than the other versions, it has been improved. It has got nicer graphics. There's some changes. The surfing scrolls the other way for some reason. I'd say that the BMX is better, the surfing is definitely better, and the footbag is fairly similar but it looks a bit nicer. The half pipe, I don't know, I never got on with that on the other version. I don't really get on with it here. Few events, more polished, but it is a game that I come back to do a bit of score chasing and I enjoy it when I play it, which is essentially why it ranked over the Gates of Zendicon. There was a real toss-up as to which I would place here and why I would do it, but they are kind of, just very different but on par with each other really.
Number 5.
ElectroCop. ElectroCop is a third-person sort of pseudo 3D game that really, it really makes use of the Lynx's scaling abilities. It's quite impressive how it's handled. Although it's side-scrolling, you can move up and down the screen and it will scroll and scale with it. It's done quite cleverly. This is really impressive, but it's also one of the hindrances of the game, which is probably why it's ranked here rather than higher up, because the actual gameplay itself I think is quite interesting. I can't help wonder if this maybe started life as an Impossible Mission sequel. I believe it's by Epix, much like the Impossible Mission games were, and it's got a similar concept. You're entering a building, you've got to essentially solve puzzles, work your way through it within a time limit. Obviously the viewpoint is changed. This is a bit more action heavy. Impossible Mission you're just dodging and using computers, but there's similarities to it. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Impossible Mission games, and this one it's I say it's a very interesting game. I imagine most people would rank it lower than some of the ones I have, but once you persevere with it and find the oddities with it, it's really quite an interesting game. Unfortunately, as I said, the way the scaling works and the navigating through the maze is a bit awkward at times. The zoomed in view you have of the large sprite means sometimes shooting enemies, you can take damage more than you might ideally. But despite these flaws, as I said, it's a really interesting game. The way you use the computer using the icebreaker to open the doors and the little extras you've got on the computers, like I said, it really gave me Impossible Mission vibes. And yeah, it's a fun game to play. It's hard to penetrate when you first start playing it. It is a bit sort of overwhelming. You wonder around what you're doing, but once you get a grasp of it, it's a lot of fun. Or at least it was for me. Like I said, I'm sure other people will rank this lower, but it's my kind of jam.
Number 4.
Todds Adventures in Slimeland. You control Todd as he goes around Slimelands trying to clean things up, and well, each stage is a little bit different, but essentially you run around with a water gun, you spray slime, take it out, pick up items which enhance and help your way through, navigate the level to get to the end. In the short summary, it's also a game that is a little bit hard to penetrate. When I first started playing it, I had no idea what I was doing. I played this one back in the day, and yeah, I didn't know what I was doing, but I had fun navigating the levels. Actually learning the game and playing it properly on the Evercade has been a lot of fun. And to be perfectly honest, it was a toss-up as whether I place this or ElectroCop here, and I suppose it's just that little bit more fun to play because, as I say, the flaws were ElectroCop, but it was a really close call here.
Number 3
is Blue Lightning. Blue Lightning, on the surface, is pretty much an Afterburner clone. You control a blue fighter plane and you fly around, you shoot out enemy planes and launch missiles, and you also take up ground emplacements. The missions do vary a bit. Afterburner is essentially just a shoot 'em up. This has a little bit more to it. We're not talking huge differences, but there are certain levels and stages where you have a specific task or have to play things a certain way, and it's quite an interesting game. And yeah, again, it makes good use of the scaling. It's a good fun game. It can get frustrating at times, and there is flaws with it, but I don't know, I just have a soft spot for this. It's a game I loved back in the day, and I still enjoy it now. And to be perfectly honest, I think I have more fun with this than I ever did with Afterburner. Again, maybe that's nostalgia talking.
Number 2
is Checkered Flag. Yeah, it's a Formula 1 racing game by Epix on the Lynx, and it's a surprisingly good one. Slightly blocky graphics aside, hallmark of the Lynx and its resolution, but the scaling is remarkably smooth, smoother than most games like this you would find on the Mega Drive and even the SNES, or at least close to it, considering this was a handheld that came out before before the Super Nintendo anyway. There's also a decent number of tracks, a great selection of options. Yeah, it's a really impressive game. It's certainly more in depth and impressive than you would have thought from first glance. I would imagine many people overlook this one or give it a quick go and don't really realise how good it is. So yeah, if you have this collection and you haven't really played this game much, give it a proper go. It might surprise you. And bear in mind, I'm not the hugest racing game fan ever. I like a good racing game, but they're not my bread and butter. This one, yeah, it's really good. Still holds up pretty well today, despite being, as old as it is, which many similar games of the era can't say.
Number 1
is Chip's Challenge. This is a top-down perspective puzzle game. You control Chip and you have to go around collecting microchips. Yep, that's it. Okay, maybe it's not it. Graphically, it's not that. It's fairly basic looking, but the puzzles are interesting. So you have to run around and get the chips. Start off, you might need to get keys and you have to get certain items to solve the puzzles, push blocks, and yeah, it's fairly straightforward in some ways, but they do get more devious. As the game progresses, you have to sort of contend with a tighter and tighter time limit. Various hazards and enemies which can kill you and set you back. So not only are you solving puzzles, you're dodging your enemies as well. I say there's too many little bits to go into. You can see from the gameplay of these early levels a couple of the bits, but yeah, it gets much more devious further in. I'm sure many would possibly rate Checkered Flag above this one. Again, depends on your preference of games, but yeah, this is a bit more my jam, and it's a game that I really like playing on the handheld in small doses, a level here, a level there. It's a great way to play it, working your way through the game gradually. Again, I did play this game back in the day. I'm not sure which version I played first, this one or the Commodore 64 port. I understand this was the original or the lead version, and like I said, I never owned a Lynx back in the day. I played, but all my friends had it, and I'd see him every day as we'd walk to school and all this sort of thing, and we'd quite often have a play while waiting for him or at lunchtime, things like that. And yeah, it was a game that I really played fully on the C64 more than I did while playing it on his Lynx, but it made an impression, and yeah, it made top of the list for nostalgia and just being a quality game.
Overall opinions.
At the beginning of the video, I posited the question, was this a case of quality over quantity, as it has less than half the games of that Atari Lynx Collection 1 has? And I can safely say yes. Not that the highs are as high as that, well, they're on par, I'd say. Nearly. Loops and my addiction for that maybe tip that over the edge of the high end, but the rest of them, yes, on par. Well, not all the rest. Zarlaw Mercenary would have been among the lower tier games on Lynx Collection 1 by comparison, but everything else is as good or better than the majority of the games on Lynx Collection 1. As with all collections and all games, not everything's going to appeal to everyone, but I do think everything except for Zarlaw Mercenary is a good game on some level, and you've got a decent amount of variety in gameplay styles as well, so that's never a bad thing. Is it as good, or is it better than the first Lynx collection? I'd say it's very close, but perhaps not quite as good. Again, maybe that's personal preference because I love loops so much and I have a serious addiction problem to that. I mean, 95 odd hours of gameplay on a game like that, sort of like 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, that's a problem. I should get some help. So scoring this collection, I would give an 8 out of 10 because it is a genuinely good cart. Now, as I said, it is a legacy cart. You won't find it at a good price that often. If you do, it's well worth picking up. But like all these carts, don't pay over the odds because that's just silly. Fortunately, a good number of games that are on the various Atari legacy collections are on the Atari Super Pocket. So there's another option for you. It's also got some exclusives. Still don't own that myself, but yeah, I'll probably pick it up at some point. There is one last thing I should do regarding this collection is if you plug in Atari Lynx Collection 1 and Atari Lynx Collection 2, you'll unlock Radontricity, which is a strange game. I don't really fully understand it, I haven't played it that much, but I'll put some footage here for your amusement. Anyway, in true Evercade Retreat fashion, I will put a silly song on the end and call it a day. So I'll see you in the next video, which will come very soon.
Engines roar, the start lights red, adrenaline rushes, no time for dread. Wheels grip tight on pixelated ground. The checkered flags, the dream profound. Corners to conquer, rivals to outpace. Feel the heat, it's a high-speed chase. 8-bit tracks where legends are made. Fuel burns bright, I'm not afraid. Chasing victory down the winding road. Hearts a piston in overload. Through the dust, under neon skies, racing to glory with fire in my eyes. Turbocharging, flying free, each lap's a battle for destiny. Drift through curves, let the tires sing. In this arcade dream, I'm the king. Never give in, the finish line's where champions win. The crowd's roars, my guiding sound. A retro marvel where heroes are crowned. Chasing victory down the winding road. Hearts a piston in overload. Through the dust, under neon skies, racing to glory with fire in my eyes. And when the checkered flag waves high, I'll see my rivals in my rear view fly. A moment frozen in history's track. The ultimate racer, there's no turning back. Engines roar, the victory sweet. Every challenge I did defeat. In this pixelated world where dreams ignite, I raced to glory, and I won the fight. Engines roar, the victory sweet. Every challenge I did defeat. In this pixelated world where dreams ignite, I raced to glory, and I won the fight.